Free your mind now. Be part of People's Pan-African Parliament, the Pan-African Pyramid Debate with your Speaker Andrew Irumba Katusabe.
Join us on the 7th Pan-African Pyramid Global Awards 2024 and 10th Anniversary Bonfire Dinner, recognizing and awarding Pan-Africanists who selflessly fought and defended the rights and freedoms of the black race globally. On 31st August 2024 at Fairway Hotel from 3 p.m. Dress code, strictly traditional or African wear. Theme, Pan-Africanism plus environmentalism equals to humanism. Book your dinner card now. Table for 6, 3 million. Platinum, 1 million. Gold, 500K. Silver, 400K. Bronze, 150K. Come, let's rekindle our roots. Call 0757 342 317 or 0782 342 317 to book your ticket now. Africa, don't agonize, organize. Powered by Fairway Hotel, NBS TV, Grow Foundation, The Spy Uganda, Detective UG.
The Spy Uganda, the Spy Television, the Pan-African Pyramid Show that happens every Friday from 5 p.m. at Fairway Hotel. But this time I've been privileged actually I'm conducting this debate on a Tuesday morning. And this is a casual debate. It's a casual meetup. I am meeting Senator Sherali Bandali, Jaffa Mobina. She's a senator in the Canadian Parliament, but also she's a Ugandan. She was actually born here, and her family is here, and they were here just having coffee and a little bit of chit-chat here and there. Let's to understand Mobina. Welcome, Mobina.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
So in Uganda, they are called members of parliament. In Canada, you are called senators.
No, we have members of parliament as well. That's it. We have two houses.
You have two houses.
A house of members of parliament and a senior house with the Senate, just like in the United States.
So you belong to the higher house?
No, not
senator.
necessarily, but we are in one of the houses.
There are two houses.
Yeah.
The lower,
Yeah.
where members of parliament sit,
Yeah.
and then the higher one, where senators sit.
Senators sit.
So you were Senator Mobina Sherali Uganda.
Yes.
Nice to meet you. Sherali, where were you born?
I was born here in the Zambia Hospital.
Kampala here?
Yes.
Sherali Bandali Mobina was born in Kampala.
Yes.
Which year was that?
Now you know my age, 1949.
1949. You must be around 74 years old.
Yes.
Nice meeting you. So, tell me something. 1974, that's when you were born.
1949.
1949. How was it like in Uganda, in Kampala?
Well, at that time I won't be able to tell you, but from what I've heard from my parents and everything, all I can say is for me, it was a good time.
Good time.
I cannot say for anybody else.
So now, 1979, were you here when Amin then said, please, enough is enough?
Yeah, in 1972 I was here.
1972?
Yeah, I was here. I got married in 71 at this hotel.
Here?
Yeah, in this hotel. The first wedding at this hotel.
The first wedding at this hotel was your wedding?
Yes.
1971?
Yes, and then in 72 we came here and sadly we were thrown out.
Your wedding was in 71?
Yes.
In 72 they said please leave.
Yeah, so our wedding was in 71. We returned to England to study, and when we came back here to stay in 72 we were thrown out.
How was that experience, Mobina?
It was not a fun experience because first my dad had to flee Sherali Bandali Jaffa. He fled around April, May. And then when we were trying to leave, my husband was picked up in Fort Portal because my husband's family is from Fort Portal. And they wanted me, but my husband just stood in the way, so they took him, not in a pleasant way, with two guns on his top of his body and two at the bottom. And the day before, somebody else had been taken away in the same area, and that person's never been seen again. Happily for me, The police insisted on taking my husband to the police station, not to the army barracks. And as a result of that, my husband is alive.
So wait a minute. Your husband's family is in Fort Poto?
Yes, they're from Fort
And
Poto.
I'm born from Fort Poto.
Oh yes, yeah. My husband's family is from Fort Poto.
Where exactly is that? I come from Fort Poto. That's my village. That's my country.
Yeah, so my husband is from Fort Poto too. He was born in Fort Poto. Yeah, so I'm married to Fort Poto.
It's called Mr.
Nurala.
Mr. Nurala.
Welcome.
Yes. I'm happy to meet you.
He's also from Fort Poto.
Now,
What is your
Senator is telling me that you are born in Fort Poto.
Yes.
I am born from Fort Poto.
There you go. What is your mpako?
Ateni.
Mine is
Ateni.
Ateni.
Yes.
Mine is Amoti.
Amoti is for kings.
Yeah. No.
The kings of Toro are called Amoti.
Amoti, yeah.
That's a better name for kings.
I was given this mpako when I was very young by a gentleman. I don't even know. We were in the shop and he said, "I'm going to call you Amoti."
Do you remember the name of the gentleman?
No, I don't. It was many years ago.
When were you born in Fort Poto?
In 1945.
1945.
Yeah.
So where were you, which village were you living in Fort Poto? Fort Poto is a town, right?
Fort Poto, yeah.
Were you living in Bukwali? Were you living in
No,
Kasusu?
just Fort Poto.
The town.
The town.
Ah,
Yeah.
nice to meet you.
Likewise.
So, next time when you come to Uganda, please make time I drive you back to your village. I will drive you back there.
He's been there many times.
You've been there?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
many
yes,
times.
yes.
He's taken our children. He's been there many times.
Ah,
That's something about Fort Poto that because you're born there, you always want to go.
you always want to go there.
Yeah.
I'm sure you miss the food, the local food.
Yes, 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 yes.
The firinda, the karo, the matoke.
Matoke, yeah. Matoke very much. Because we don't get matoke in Canada. Our bananas are very different, and the matoke is very different.
Hey, no, I'm now meeting another family of mine now. You know. So when did you leave Fort Poto?
During the Idi Amin time.
When they said please leave.
71, yeah.
You're one of those who left.
72, I beg your pardon.
1972. So you're among those who packed their bags in 3 months and left.
One bag.
One bag.
Left
You're not allowed
everything
to carry 3.
Left everything else behind. One bag is few clothes and that's it.
So at that time, you were living in Fort Poto or you were living now in Kampala?
No, we were in England. We just got married.
No, we got married in 71. And in 72, we were coming back to live here.
To live in Uganda.
So what did you leave behind there in Fort Poto?
Everything.
Everything. You know, it's like you go in a house, it's got a full
You
house.
just pick your clothes
You just lock the door
and leave.
and leave.
I lived with my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, 3 of his brothers, and one sister, and the brothers' wives.
I wrote a story about you, Senator Mobina, your father, in 1979, when you expelled, your family reached in Canada and started settling Ugandans who had also left. Is that true?
That's true.
Our father.
And in fact, he brought people from other parts of the world that they had gone to settle them in Uganda, in Canada. He gave up 2 years of his life after he was expelled to settle people who had not landed in good places.
That is Sherali Bandali,
Yes.
senior,
Yeah, my father.
your father. I wrote a very long story about him. I don't know whether you saw it, but I
like to see it.
It's actually on the internet. It's actually on the internet.
Okay, later on you can show it.
I will show you. I wrote it. I even gave him an award. I awarded him as a Pan-African. You ask your son, Mr. Azad Zafari, has he shown you that award?
I'll ask him.
Yes, we gave him an award. I read his story, it touched me. Somebody who has been expelled from Uganda, you reach Canada, and you're done settling Ugandans in Canada and in other parts of the world.
Yes.
That was way above any human's expectations.
Yeah, but
Because
that
someone
was
would
my
think,
father. That was my father. He always used to think of the other person. And sometimes we used to get angry because he always put people who needed more than us
hey,
first. because he said we have to share. We have to share.
Yes. So you would get angry when you saw him trying to care about other people.
No, not so much angry because he was caring.
It would.
But because
you'd ask yourself why?
No, because spending time away from.
A lot of time was spent with settling other people. So
without giving them enough time as a family.
Yeah, or to settling our family. He had sworn that he would not settle our family until those families were settled.
So, for me, because of that, I read history, I wasn't there. I mobilized my comrades, my colleagues in the Pan-African movement, and we decided to award him. And please, before you leave, ask for that award from Mr. Azad. There is even a medal. I gave him a medal and a plaque.
I will ask.
As a Pan-African who helped. Pan-Africanism that we preach nowadays, Senator Mobina, is not about color.
No, of course.
Pan-African is not about color. The other, our forefathers in Pan-Africanism, because of the experience they had gone through in America and so on, being segregated because of their color, they also developed a defensive mechanism that if you are white and I am black, we are enemies. That was the Pan-Africanism that they championed at that time. The Martin Luther King, the Malcolm X's, and so on. It was a defensive mechanism. But today, the world has changed. Right now, you are my mother, he's my dad. The color doesn't matter. It's just the ideology. So the new paradigm shift we made in Pan-Africanism is that it should be based on ideology, not color, not race, not even geographical boundary. I would like to come and meet my Pan-African fellows in Canada and America and so on. Your dad, I'm sure there are many Ugandans who could not do what your dad did for Africans.
Well,
first of all,
he didn't see them as Africans. He saw them as brothers and sisters. And he always used to say that, who needs help? He builds schools here for African girls. He builds hostels. He builds mosques. He was always thinking.
Here, there is a mosque called Wandegea Mosque. You know it?
Yes.
Here, he had a very big contribution in its establishment.
Yeah, and I was there for his opening, so was the other man. And Kibuli is very close.
Kibuli Mosque, every year I go with Mr. Azar there to support. The needy. Every year he does it. He pays homage there every year. Mr.
We're very proud of him.
Yes, he's doing an interesting.
Yeah, he's doing a wonderful job.
Very wonderful.
He's taking the torch of my father and even making it better.
Yeah, I have seen. Mr. Azar phoned me here to tell you. Let me give you my story. It's your brother Anis, the father of Azar, who adopted me as his son. One time there was a need for media, so I came as a journalist. So we sat. After sitting, he explained what he was going through, and out of so many, I am the only one who did not ask for money for transport. So others asked for transport, and he gave them, and they left. Now, when he came to give me, I said, "No, sir. You have explained your problem. I cannot be another problem to you. I'm supposed to help you."
Yeah, he told me that. My brother told me that at that time, and Azar also told me that.
So that's the time when he picked me from the menu. Told me, "Who are you?" I told him. "How do you live?" I explained to him. Then it ended there. So I came back next time with an idea. I came and told him, "Sir, see, I see Africans are changing from humanity to something else. We used to have humanity. We can do something through Pan-Africanism. I have an idea that we need to start lectures about Pan-African, how to go back to humanity to teach the young generation. But the problem is they don't have the money to pay for this hotel space." I said, no. When do you want to start? I told him, "Let me go and think about it, but maybe in a month." He said, "No, you can start tomorrow." I said, "But I will not talk to my other colleagues." He said, what do you need to start? I told him I need space. He said, I have given you space. Then he asked me, what else do you want? He said, PA system, this microphone. He said, he called his boys and said, give him the PA system. No, now tell me what else you want. I said, they don't need anything. Now I need to go and mobilize my people. He said, you go and mobilize, come back tomorrow. Then he called a certain manager. He said, when these guys are here, give them soda, give them water. That's what they can afford for now. Give them free. Seating free, PA system free, drinks free. Told me. So when we came the first day, he came and cooked. He wanted to see whether I had started. He phoned us there, 9 people, 9. We were 9 at that time. He went. He did not say anything. The next Friday, he came back. We had now become 15. He came and he went back. He did not say anything. So we kept increasing. And he also kept increasing the sodas and waters. And that's how the idea began. Today we are 10 years old. This August, we are going to be celebrating 10 years. Anis, your brother, is the one who helped me to start a Pan-African organization, to go back to our ways, how we used to be. Now, when your dad, when I studied about your dad's contribution towards humanity, I could tell where Anis was coming from. Because Anis looked in my eyes and saw something that I wanted to do was in line with his father, your father. So he wanted me to start immediately. He picked me immediately. And I can tell you, it's now 10 years. I've been here, they host us.
Yeah, you know, my father started this hotel, and he only started it because the Pope was coming and for his staff. And he laid the seed. He started small, and then my brother grew it. And now my nephew has...
Third generation.
But my nephew has done an amazing job. This is a different hotel than what my father started, my brother started. My nephew, Azarali, Jaffer, has worked extremely hard to give this as the absolute impression of how beautiful Uganda is. If you look around here, it's so beautiful, and that's because he wants that impression for tourists. My family believes that if we are going to increase Uganda's
tourism
is very important. And for tourism, you need stability. And for tourism, if you have stability, people will come. How can they not? This is a beautiful place.
Uganda is the pearl of Africa.
Yes,
that he was correct.
Yes.
So I'm seeing even in Canada, some of you coming to Uganda.
Always.
Especially your husband who lived in Fort Portal. Now Fort Portal is the heart of Uganda.
Yes.
Yeah, we always missed Uganda, but for many years we couldn't come back. And the minute we could come back, my father was here. And he has been there ever since. And then my brother came too. And now my nephew has come, and our whole family has come. Sadly, we've lost my brother. We had only one brother, Anis. And we were 5 sisters. And all 5 sisters are here.
They're all here?
They're all here.
Wow.
They're all here.
Yeah, we decided we'll meet here.
And we brought our children. I brought my 2 children, my grandchildren. They're all here. And because they know that we love Uganda.
You love Africa, you love Uganda.
We love Africa, of course, but this is a place that we always consider.
Well, we're born here. Everybody's born here. Bina's born here in Kampala. I'm born in Fort Portal. Our children, of course, are born in Kenya.
Therefore, you should even start now talking some Rutoro. I'm sure I'm not forgetting someone.
Airoda.
Ndaire kurungi.
Ndio. I speak a little bit.
He's forgotten.
But no, how many years since you left Uganda?
54 years.
54.
Now 54 years, if he can speak that. Koreirota, Wasiwota, he has not forgotten his mother.
No.
You know?
No, how can you?
No,
That's interesting.
Fort Portal we love. We really love Fort Portal.
That's interesting.
But then for me, he loves Fort Portal, but for me, Kampala.
Kampala.
I remember the days in Fort Portal when, you know, those paraffin lights. Those
Yeah,
gentlemen,
steamer.
yeah, the gentleman,
pump.
he'll bring it down.
You tie.
He tie down
Yes.
every night at 8 o'clock,
Yes.
and it burns till midnight.
Yes.
Next day, same thing. That was his job. The main street in Kololo, that's what he did. And we would go and tease him. You know, we were sort of messing around with him. We were just little kids. So I remember all those memories coming back.
So did you study from some schools in Fopoto or you left?
Yeah. There was a school near a mosque. I don't know whether you know.
Yeah,
Near the mosque.
Yeah.
That is
Not the big one. Not now. There was a one bakery.
the mosque is down there.
Yeah, down there.
Near
That's right.
Mpanga.
Yeah. Small one.
Yes.
So that's where we used to study.
It's called St. Luanga Primary School.
I think so.
St. Luanga.
Yeah.
St. Luanga, I
Yeah.
think. Primary
So that's
school.
where we studied. And then my father, like her father, thought that we should come to Kampala to study. To go, you know,
So in Kampala, where did you study?
Perryman Garden. We stayed in Perryman Garden.
Really?
Perryman Garden.
Which has changed now.
And we went to Aga Khan School.
Aga Khan.
Yeah.
And Senator
I went to Aga Khan.
Aga Khan also.
Yeah.
You studied from here, Uganda?
Yeah, I did my O levels here
Me too. We didn't leave Uganda
until
until we were thrown out.
So, Senator Mobina, tell me something about.
and I always, my father was a member of parliament.
Yes.
And I always-
By the way, your father was a member of parliament.
Yeah.
Which year was that?
It's immediately after, just before independence, he was a member of parliament.
He was representing
Kabaka
Kampala.
Yaka UPC.
He was a member of Kabaka Yaka.
Yaka UPC. And then, and he was in, Bakuri.
Bakuri, yes.
That area, Perryman Garden, Bakuri, all that area, the Makar area. And he was elected by Africans, not by Asians.
Of course, African.
And,
He's an African.
Yeah, he's absolutely an African.
He's
And he
Ugandan.
was serving in parliament. And I always used to say to my dad, you fight elections until I come back. Then I'm going to take that place. I want to run in the same place you ran.
Yeah, you wanted hereditary
Yeah.
politics. When your dad leaves, you come.
Yeah, but sadly it didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
Yeah.
Your father was a very strong leader.
Yeah, he was.
Very strong leader.
Yeah, he was, and he was very caring, extremely caring.
How was the atmosphere when you hosted ever the first Pope to come to Uganda here?
But my father was also a member.
Were you old at that time? You were understanding?
Yeah, I was old enough. And my father hosted the Pope's entourage here because the Pope stayed with the leader here, the Catholic leader here. But his entourage stayed here, and he just built this hotel for that staff because he was a member of the municipal council as well, which is unusual. And they asked him that you have this house, can you build a hotel for the entourage? Otherwise, we have nowhere to put them. So that's what he did. He built the hotel for the Pope's staff.
Because you must have been there. You must have worked on pressure, saying we want the hotel very fast. How long did it take for him to put it up?
Oh, I can't tell you that now. My father
But he must
was
have
very fast.
You must have used the speed because
Yeah.
he had a timeline.
Yeah.
The guests are coming, please.
Yeah, exactly.
But my father was a person who built a lot of things, built houses and stuff, so he knew how to put it together.
He was versatile like his grandchild here, Mr.
Yeah.
Azad Jafar.
He's very versatile.
Azad
just
Jafar
like
has
his
been able to
grandson.
do all these things you have done because of one thing. I have been with him. Very versatile, very flexible.
And he's everybody I talk to here says he's very respectful of everybody.
Yeah.
Very respectful.
Very good character.
We are very proud of
He has a good sense of, listening is a virtue. Eh?
Yeah.
Listening. He listens.
Mr. Azar was here. I told him this morning, I said, you've done such a good job on this hotel.
We are very proud of
Your
him.
father and your grandfather are just
grandfather.
smiling at you.
Yeah. He has done a very
An amazing job, yeah.
We are very proud of him.
He came here and demolished almost everything because I was here when he was doing all this. You remember I told you I started living with Mr. Anis.
Yeah.
As I came and started demolishing everything here, turning everything upside down, I was wondering what's this. But when he finished the job, even me could say, wow. I even would ask him, where do you get these ideas? Where
He
you?
works hard. And
Very
you know, he's
versatile.
given a lot of his life to the
Yeah. He has
this and the
committed himself.
betterment of Uganda.
He has also expanded the empire, the family empire, because I've been with him. He has some other, I've seen some other developments in Entebbe there,
Yeah.
Zambia, I've been
Zambia,
there.
yes.
I've been there also. I'm sure you also went there.
Yes, we went to
Yes.
Zambia.
You were speaking to the buffaloes at night.
Yeah, we were.
How did you like that?
It was
Did you
very
tour the Machison Falls National Park?
Yes.
Yes, we went there as well.
Yeah.
But in Zambia, I mean, the buffalo was right outside our
Exactly.
rooms.
You
Yeah.
must have slept in my house.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
where buffaloes, you know.
Yeah.
At night you hear them.
Yeah, he's done an amazing job.
And
We're
when I
so
went
proud
there,
of him.
I didn't even want to come back to Kampala.
No.
Yeah.
First thing,
Zambia
It
is
wasn't
very-
enough time.
yeah. it-
And then he had the zip line.
Yeah.
And my grandchildren must have done it
Enjoyed
4 or 5 times.
yeah.
I did it once, but my grandchildren did
You
it
also
4
did it?
5.
Yeah.
Of course.
It's very scary.
No, it's easy.
You know, Tanzania has the longest zip line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The longest
Yeah.
in Uganda.
Yeah.
He told us.
So long.
Yeah, he told
Yeah,
us.
we did it. We did it.
Did you do it?
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
Good.
Of course. How do I
Good.
tell you that it's the
Yeah.
longest? I went there.
When he saw me, he said that you can't do it because
Yeah, it
you're
is.
too old.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't care, I will. But I just didn't say anything to him. But my grandson took me and I did it. And he was, when he saw me coming down Azar, he was shocked. He said, I'm going to have to change the rules that nobody, your age should be able to do the zip line because it's very a big responsibility.
How did you feel?
I felt great. I just felt great.
I see.
Because of all the vegetation you see, and it was amazing.
It was great. Very good experience.
Senator Mobina, how many terms have you served in the Canadian Parliament?
I've been there for 23 years.
You served for 23 years.
Yes.
Those are how many terms? I know you have terms. Each term is how many
Yeah,
years?
but in Canada, it's just the same as in the House of Lords. We don't have elections, so it's not terms. We are permanent.
You're permanent.
Yeah.
How would you do that?
Yeah, that's our law. It's just like England, House of Lords. Even here, we don't have elections for senators there. It's
Good.
supposed to be the house of second sober thought. And the idea is that if you have elections, then you have to take sides and you have to, look after one community. This way, you look after the welfare of all Canadians, and that's something that a senator does.
So in Canada, senators do not subject themselves to elections.
No,
They are appointed
they're
By who?
by the Prime Minister.
by the prime.
The Prime Minister. He appoints his cabinet to work with. That's
No,
the
he doesn't
cabinet.
have to appoint his cabinet. His cabinet is with the House of Commons. With the Senate, there is no cabinet. We work with our colleagues. There are 105 of us.
You are 105 senators,
Yes.
and all of you appointed by the Prime Minister.
Yeah.
And for you, you have been there for 20.
3 years.
That has not been under one senator, isn't it?
No,
Under
it's
one
been
Prime
many
Minister.
prime ministers.
Many
Yeah.
Prime
So
Ministers.
all of them, when they come, you simply remind him.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
I remain until I want to, and so I'm still there.
Canada's government is like House of Commons and Senate. So House of Commons want to pass a bill.
It has to
It has to
the
come to
Senate.
Senate. Until Senate doesn't approve it, the bill will not go through.
It's the same as in England. There's a House of Commons and the House of Lords. We are known as the Senate.
Senate, cabinet, household.
And the idea is that if a senator is there for a long time, there's continuity and there's experience. Unlike in the House, it's a short term.
The other commons, every term, their term is how many?
5 years.
5 years.
Every 5 years they
They
reshuffle.
elect.
But
Yes.
normally it's 4 years.
4 years. Because the
It's
last
up
year
to the
is-
Prime Minister to call the election.
So every 4 years there's an election, so everybody has to run again.
But not the Senate.
But there is no continuity there.
Yeah, there's no. That's
So
why you
in the
have
Senate, they want to leave that continuity.
Yes, to give stability to the country.
Yes. This is what happens in companies. There must be somebody
Who continues? Yes.
memory. You
Yeah,
know?
we have the memory of the parliament.
So why? I think that's a good idea.
It just gives both stability and also for House of Commons it's important that people are accountable, parliamentarians are accountable to the people, and with us the Prime Minister appoints us very carefully. I was the first African, first South Asian, first Muslim, and the first first South Asian. So 3 and then the Prime Minister, and you're a woman, so 4 in one.
Yeah. I actually wrote about that as well. I'm sure I've not seen that. John Gananga was also a Pan-African.
Good friend.
Very good Pan-African.
He's a very good friend of mine.
She's got a lot of photographs.
John Gananga.
Yeah.
Give me those photos, Madam
I'll have to
Senator.
send it to you.
John Gananga was. I also awarded him together with your father.
Yeah.
Now you see,
John Garang and I were very good
I didn't know
friends.
this connection, but imagine the day we awarded her father, is the day we awarded John Gananga.
I was the first one he invited. I was there when Parliament in Sudan opened, and I was the first one he invited me to his office, and we took pictures. I'll send you that.
Send
And
me.
John Garang was a very good friend of mine,
Tall man,
Yeah.
very tall.
but a very, very good
Very
friend.
good man.
Yeah.
He was a he believed in togetherness.
Yeah, yeah. He always used to say that I'm not fighting for South Sudan. I don't want South Sudan. I want Sudan.
Yes.
And I will fight for Sudan, not for South Sudan.
That's John Garang.
John Garang said that.
Now, today we have South Sudan and Sudan.
Yeah, it's
That was
breaking
not
my
his
heart.
dream.
Yeah, it's breaking
That was
my
not
heart.
his dream. Because even when you have South Sudan and Sudan, you thought that would bring peace. There is no peace in both countries.
No,
There's
they're
no
fighting
peace in
each
Sudan.
other.
There's no peace in South Sudan.
No.
South Sudan, 2 brothers are fighting, Riek
Yeah.
Machar and Salva Kiir.
Yeah.
So that's why
I knew
Garang-
both Riek Machar and
You know them
Fakir,
also?
and I knew his Riek Machar's wife very well too.
Hey,
And it's a shame they are fighting because the people are suffering. People are suffering, right, for their egos.
Then you took some women to Nigeria.
Yeah, for the peace process, I took 78 women from Darfur to Nigeria. Not 78,
70.
10 women.
10 women.
So I said if the men are sitting in the peace process and they were being picked up by the UN from Europe, they were in exile. So I said, why can't we bring women, Darfurian
On the
women,
floor, the table.
from the camps? And so the Salim, the former Prime Minister or President of Tanzania, agreed with me. I had lots of opposition, but he agreed, and he was the head of the peace hearings. And so I brought the women, and it made a huge difference. So, you know, when men would argue about a river and say it should be in Sudan or South Sudan or whatever, the women would say, what are you saying? There is no river there. I remember as a young child going to get water from there. That has dried up a long time ago. That would end the discussion. And so I believe the women are the eyes and ears of a community, and the men look at the big picture, but it's the women who carry out the everyday tasks.
They look at the nitty-gritties of
And they are carrying out everyday tasks, and it's very important that both men and women sit at the peace process. Very important.
So during that time they had some kind of segregated the women. They were not being
So
made
the
part
women,
of the.
yeah, until then, that's the first time it's ever happened in Africa or in the world that women were brought as equal partners to the peace process.
Cutters of you.
Well, I'm not going to take all the credit, but I pushed for it.
So you were the head of the peace delegation in Darfur.
Yeah, from Canada.
From Canada for 4 years. Apart from this, what are other achievements you got from that initiative? Are there some things you agreed upon and they were being implemented at least, or at least they attempted to implement?
Well, so even now I'm the chair of the group around the world on women, peace and security, and I'm still fighting for women to be included in the security processes around the world.
Equal opportunity.
Not so much equal, but to have a voice at peace.
Have a voice. Oh, you're not fighting for equality.
I am always fighting for equality of women, but at this point, it is about having women at the peace table. Because I believe if the community is going to have peace, you have to have the women, because they know the communities.
Take your team, Senator. I don't want to vendette you and you don't take your team. This is just it's just a casual chat.
It's casual, yes.
Yeah, it's casual. Let's just be free, take your team, and but I'm glad to be talking to you, Senator. It's an honor for me to meet you. First of all, I've been writing about you. You know, I had never met you.
Thank you.
I was moved by your father's gesture of reaching in Canada, and he gets Ugandans whose president had kicked them out, then he hosts them, he treats them, he finds them, he settles them. That was way so impressive and kind, and I thought that is the spirit that we need to.
She forgot to tell you something. Her father had a very good man who he looked to him as a father, Musa Kasule.
Haji Musa Kasule.
Haji Musa Kasule, his father brought him to Canada. Stayed at his house for 3-4 weeks, I think.
Yeah, but what happened is that Haji Musa Kasule and my father at one point in his life had lost everything, and Haji Musa Kasule held his hand. And then throughout his life, Haji Musa Kasule and my dad did business together. And we used to call him Granddad. And he was at my wedding in 1971, and he made a speech then as well. And in fact, I met with the Haji Musa Kasule family because it's a real honor.
Yeah. You met them recently?
Yeah, they
just
came
a few
here.
days ago, yeah.
We had lunch together.
And Haji Musa Kasule, that mosque it is, I think that is the land offered it. Offered it.
Yes, the land.
Yes, the land.
But he and his family are very special.
They came to us.
I know one of the grandchildren is a footballer, Kasule. Is it Kasule? Yes. Yes.
Yeah, probably.
Yes, he's a footballer.
Yeah.
But Haji Musa Kasule is was a very generous man. And so are his children and grandchildren.
You have a lot of memories.
Yeah.
What are some of those memories also you have about Idi Amin?
Well, Idi Amin...
apart from the expulsion, what are some of those?
So, Idi Amin, the day after he was appointed, came to my father's house in Kololo on the hill and kept saying, I can't be the president, can I? I can't be the president. And my father said, you are, because he knew my father very well. And for a week he kept coming, and he kept saying, okay, you have to give me this house because it's worth a president's house on the hill. And then things changed, and then he became a different kind of man after a few years.
When he was appointed as president, but was he appointed? No, he fought his way too.
No, he was appointed by the British and the Americans. They threw out Obote and brought him in.
The British outed the Americans and brought
because Obote stood up for South Africa at the Commonwealth Games, and so British and Americans threw him out because they thought Obote has become too powerful and there's too big a voice in Africa, and so they brought a man that nobody thought would ever be
powerful
or a threat. Obote made him a defense minister because he never thought he would be a threat. And then for all the years that Uganda was ruined was because of those countries, England and America. And my father used to always remind us that it wasn't the Asians who suffered because we got another home and we settled well. It's the Africans who suffered. They always used to say so when we would get bitter about being thrown out, he would say, no, we are the lucky ones. The Africans behind have really suffered, and we have to fix that. we have to use our assets in Canada to fix that. And so, as you were saying, what else? I have, for many years, brought mosquito nets. And I go into the villages here in Canada, in Fort Portal and other...
Mostly at Fort Portal.
No, but other areas too here, to teach people how to put a net. And this net is treated so that mosquitoes cannot enter. And I bring those from Canada.
I would join you in that struggle, madam. I will support you, Senator. So tell me something. When the Americans and the British brought in Amin to oust Obote, they thought they were bringing somebody they would manage and manipulate.
Absolutely.
Instead, he also turned to be another one.
And he turned out to be a tyrant.
Worse.
He turned to be another one.
No, but he turned and became a tyrant, right?
A tyrant.
Yeah. You know, my mother was a probation officer and a social worker, and she used to go to the prisons. That was part of her job. And she'd come home every single time that she went to prison and say, things are awful in prison because they're not wanting to use bullets. They're hammering people to death, you know, and...
they don't use bullets?
No.
And they didn't want to waste resources.
Yeah.
They were using hammers.
Hammers. And she heard all that, and she used to come back so distressed saying, our country is deteriorating, our country is deteriorating. And then, you are too young to know this, but the fish we would catch or we would get would have fingers in them or things like that.
Come again, Senator.
Yeah, the
fish at that time
would have fingers in them.
Human beings.
Because they had been thrown into the
human fish, human fingers in the fish.
Yeah, because they had been thrown, the people had been thrown into the water.
That is during whose time? Amin's time.
Yeah.
The fish themselves you would catch, inside them there were
fingers.
Human fingers.
And you know, what we never talk about in the Asian Exodus is what happened to Africans who stayed behind.
Yeah.
And my dad always told us that we were the lucky ones.
Because you are alive, you're safe.
Yeah. And these are the people who are suffering. And that's why we must never forget the suffering of the Africans left behind.
In other words, the ones you left behind are the ones suffering.
Yeah.
You who were expelled, you are safer, you are better, you're in a better place.
Yeah, and then we built better lives. Imagine going from a refugee to a senator. So you build a better life. You know, obviously we miss Uganda terribly, and that's why we keep coming back, because this is our home. And wherever you're born, that's the place. And you know, whenever you've drunk the water of the River Nile, you always come home.
You know, Lake Victoria and River Nile have the freshest waters in the world.
Yes.
They are here.
And you know, and the fish we used to love, but for a short time we couldn't eat it.
Because of the human fingers.
And people don't know this story that Africans suffered the most. It wasn't the Asians. So the story is not about the expelling of the Asians, which was very painful. I will admit that, because we lost everything. But the story is about the suffering of Africans left behind.
Not about the Asians who were expelled.
Yeah, because my father always said...
Because we focus so much on the expelled Asians.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we forgot those who remained in Uganda.
Yeah, right. And the ones who suffered. My mother and father would always, and as soon as they were able to come back, my father again rebuilt the African schools and again invested in projects here, because he wanted people to again have a good life. Because it was the Africans who were left behind who suffered. And that's when my father had built this hotel, and now it's become a training school. And Museveni also used it as a training school when we were expelled. And then when my brother came in place, he also used it as a training school. And now Azar has really expanded the training, because what is very important is education and for training of people. So it's not, you know how they say, don't teach me how to fish, teach me how to catch a fish. And that's what this hotel is doing. It's teaching people to catch a fish. It's teaching young people to become
Don't give me fish, but teach me how to catch the fish.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. Yeah. This hotel is doing. It's teaching young people to become good chefs, good waitresses, whatever. And that Azhar is doing that really well. We are very proud of Azhar.
So let's go back to the relationship between your father and Mr. Amin, the president.
It didn't last long after he came in.
There's something you talked about. There is somewhere you talked about Amin coming to your father's home and asking him, I cannot be president, I can't manage
I
this.
can't believe it that I'm
can't believe
president.
it.
Am I president? My dad would say, yeah, you
Your
are.
father would say, please, you can.
Yeah, you are the president.
It means that that time they were good friends.
They were not good friends, but they knew each other.
They knew each other. So he would come to consult him.
Because remember, he was the head of the defense force, right? And my father was a member of parliament.
So he would come to consult him. Then at one time he turns against him and says, please give me this house where you are staying.
Exactly.
Did I hear that?
Exactly. Yeah,
He
exactly.
just came out of the blue and said, please give me this house.
No, he said it every time. I want this house. This house is capable of being a president's house.
Presidential house.
Yeah,
But yet it was your father's house.
yeah.
Where was it?
It was right on the hill, Wireless Hill.
Wireless.
It's still there.
There. It's still there. It's-
Yeah, we can't go to it because the army has blocked the roads. But even the other day we went because that was our house.
So who is occupying it now?
So I think the army, even now. And my father promised my mom that wherever we go, he will build her a house on the hill. So in Canada, he's built her a house, a very nice
On the
house
hill.
on the hill.
You can see the whole Vancouver.
Yeah,
from
so
there.
this house that is being occupied by army, has government somehow compensated the family?
No.
Well, then by that time, my father sold it very quickly
Oh,
because he knew
so,
there was trouble.
Oh, so he sold it. So he has no. So
No, he's not interested.
I wanted to know whether
Yeah, no, no.
they are occupying it illegally or something.
No.
That's good. You have answered that. All right. So as we finish this, Senator, are there some good memories you remember about Idi Amin's regime?
I don't have many good memories about
You don't
him.
have many good memories.
No, I don't have many good memories because we were always frightened, as most people were. But I have good memories of Uganda. And my children are here, both my children are here, both my grandchildren are here. And I'm always trying to tell them, this is our country and you have to invest in our country. And there at the moment, I've gone to see the gorillas and Azhar has really shown us again. My grandchildren, I've seen it. And so, because I want them to have the love of Uganda that my husband and I have, and the Jaffa family has had.
Yeah, fantastic. I am told finally that your family and you yourself, you have a very close ties with the president of Uganda.
Yes, I do.
The president.
Yes.
Tell me about that. How do you come to get in touch with the president of the Republic of Uganda?
I just let the High Commissioner in Canada know that I'm here, and if the president wants to see me, then he contacts me. And so over the years, I've met with the president many times.
You met with the president?
Many
He's
times.
the president?
Yes, many
Who is the
times. Yeah, many times. Yeah.
Ew.
He's given me a lot of respect.
Oh. I'm not sure that he knows that you're here. Either you would have met
No,
him.
Grace will have told him, but this time I'm leaving tomorrow, so there's not much time.
Hey. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
Senator Mobina Sherali Bandali. I've been talking to Senator Mobina Sherali Bandali. She's a senator in the Canadian Parliament for the last 23 years, you said?
23 years.
23 years she has been a senator, and she is still a senator. When you leave the Senate House, what are you going to do for
Well, my
humanity?
father has built a very big egg farm, so I'm going to work with my daughter on the egg farm, and I also
Egg farm.
and I'm also a lawyer.
Hey, you're a lawyer?
Yeah, and my son and I work together as lawyers, so I'll go back to the law office.
You're going back to the chamber.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah. I've been a lawyer for 40 years. Yeah,
40 years.
in Canada. More than that, in fact, 47 years. Yeah.
Oh, it's been an amazing time. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
giving me the
Thank you very
opportunity to
much.
speak to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Senator.
And thanks for reaching out to me. Thank you so much.
I became part of your family a long time ago. So
You are part of our
So I'm
family.
just letting you know.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Azar is my brother.
I know.
Yes.
Yeah, and we are very proud of Azar.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
Andrew Irumba Katusabe, your speaker. This has been the Pan-African Pyramid. This time round, not on Friday, but on Tuesday morning, over a cup of coffee, discussing just casually with the Canadian Senator Mobina Sherali Bandali. If you remember the history of the Bandali family in Uganda, you know her. There is even a road in Kololo named after her father, Bandali Rise. If you're in Uganda, you know Bandali Rise. That is her father's name, and that is the family of Sherali Bandali. Her father, made immense contributions in Uganda's political terrain, the landscape. Kabaka Yeka, her father was a member of the Kabaka Yeka. He was a member of parliament representing Kampala. Right now, Kampala is being represented by Honorable Muhammad Isereko.
Yeah.
So it means this was the first person to open for him the door.
Yeah.
And then he also made very huge contributions involving the mosques in Kampala, the schools, health centers, the old Kampala mosque. Her family had immense contributions. And I am very sure that Senator Mobina has also made immense contribution in her own capacity as a human being.
Thank you. Thank you
so
very
much
much.
for
Thanks.
giving me the opportunity.
Thank
And
you.
thank you.
Thanks for reaching out to me.
Thank you.
Omnani komboti, ngala kova ngani.